What's up, everybody? Welcome to Survivor Wannabes. My name is Ryan, and with me are my two co-hosts, Sebastian and Dennis. Say hello, fellas.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going.
It is going. I was scared we weren't going to be making it tonight because my computer
You did have
decided
some.
to do a Windows update.
Yeah, you did have some computer issues.
I always like to restart my computer right before we record a podcast just to avoid any, issues or, sometimes the computer gets a little weird.
Any hiccups?
Started it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to do that, and then I decided to do a Windows update. Fortunately, this was like the fastest Windows update on the history of Windows updates, so it all worked out. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I was surprised when you sent me that blue screen. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, we're not going to be recording until like next week. But it worked out. It worked out, and I'm super excited. Hashtag get off my island. Hashtag you have nice skin. This episode was the bomb.
Oh my god, what is wrong with people? Why would you keep the weakest person on your tribe? I don't understand that. It's so not me.
I don't either.
So
I mean, I feel bad for you. I mean, you were screwed either way.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
But I think from a who's your biggest opportunity to win, I mean, Jeremy was definitely up there. Although the more I got to know of him in this last episode, I was like, damn, this guy's paranoid.
And he had an idol.
No, he didn't have an idol.
I thought he did.
No,
Davey.
Yeah. No, Dan. Oh, well, Davey does have an idol.
Oh, see, I get Davey and Jeremy confused.
I do too. See, clearly, Davey. You all laughed at me.
They don't show Davey enough.
He's like the fisherman. I'm very pleasantly surprised by Davey. I'm so happy with him as my choice, and you all laughed at me, and you were like, that guy's crazy.
He's been under the radar for the entire season so far. I mean, we're 3 episodes in, but he's been under the fucking radar, man.
Yeah. Well, so Jeremy knew that Dan had the idol, but Jeremy did not have the idol himself, so. I don't know. Dennis, what did you think of tonight's episode? Well, I guess yesterday's episode, but
Yeah, it was all right. I didn't see where it was going. I didn't think those two would be the ones on the chopping block.
I was so surprised Jeremy was thrown up there by what's her face.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Angelina, I think it was, right?
Oh, yeah, Angelina, my girl too. Y'all laugh at my
out of fucking nowhere. She's just like, I hate Jeremy. I'm gonna throw his name up there. I'm like, are you kidding me? What?
And she convinced everyone to do it. I'm like, damn, girl, yeah, get it.
That was fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I was super stoked on that. This whole episode made me feel really good about all my draft picks.
Well, it made me feel like shit. Natalie's on the chopping block. I lost Jeremy. I mean, Gabby and Christian did pretty well.
Yeah, but even Gabby seems to be on the David end of the chopping block, which is strange.
I called that. I called that.
Did you call it?
It's because she changed her vote. She got fucking paranoid.
Okay, see, that's where I was a little, I wasn't here last week, so I was a little confused about some of the things that were going down. I watched the episode, but I didn't really talk about it. Why were they so hung up on Gabby? Because I thought wasn't it Elizabeth and Lyrsa who were the ones who wanted to vote Jessica out? Weren't they the ones who flipped the entire vote?
Yeah, they were the ones that brought it up, but I think Gabby was the one who was she drugged Christian into the vote, so Gabby was just last week she was so fucking paranoid that she was going to be the one voted out, and she wasn't even mentioned.
Yeah. So was she? I guess she ended up kind of being the swing vote or something last week.
Not only that, she brought Christian with her. So it's just kind of like this week's vote and last week's vote. I was so surprised by who got voted out. That was insane.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised. I accidentally opened up the draft sheet while I was taking some notes, and I saw Jeremy got voted out. I was like, really? I was like, that's super surprising.
I watched that 3 hours ago. or I added that 3 hours ago. How did you not watch the episode until like 20 minutes ago or what?
Basically, yeah. I
Oh
think I started
shit! I'm
watching.
sorry. I assumed I
Oh,
was the
no,
last one to
no.
watch it.
No, it's all right. You're good. No, I actually watched it like at 8 o'clock,
Oh wow.
like an hour before we started. But it's okay. It did whatever. It's Survivor. I'm not like, oh my god. It wasn't like the winner.
Yeah.
But I was just very surprised, and I actually kind of thought it was interesting watching it from that perspective, knowing who got voted out already. Kind of seeing like what the downfall of Jeremy was throughout the episode. Because surely I thought if the Goliaths go to tribal council, it had to be Natalie who was getting voted out. And then when I saw Jeremy, I was like, damn, that sucks.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, there's no way she, like, when we first picked our people, like the first podcast we did this season, I was like, so Natalie could either go all the way as someone they just drag along as someone that no one's going to vote for, no one likes her, or she's going to be one of the first people voted out. And right now it's looking like she's the one people are going to take with her. I don't understand how that happened. Like, there must have been so much shit with Jeremy we didn't see.
I mean, I saw a lot with Jeremy that probably would have made me pretty uncomfortable as a player. I mean, he was like super paranoid. He was, admitting to people that he was going through Dan's pockets and found his idol. And, when you compare that type of person, this whole episode just kind of made Jeremy look really bad. Like, he's the one talking behind everyone's back, plotting against Natalie. And then in the same vein, he's trying to have conversations where he's saying he's concerned about side conversations happening and he wants people to stop talking about them. And he wants the tribe to be strong and everyone to be on the same page. But then in the same vein, like 5 seconds later, he's like, we need to get out Kara and Dan because they're a showmance. And I'm just like, you talk about self-awareness so much, but you clearly have none of your own.
Well, I think everybody has that little bit of they're not very self-aware of what they're doing. And, he's very right when he says that about Natalie. Like, her self-awareness is non-existent, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought it was very ironic that at the tribal council, she was just sitting there like, I will sit here and listen to everybody's constructive criticism, and I will take that in. When she just like completely dismissed Jeremy's when he was trying to be like, hey, I got your back. Everybody's saying you're kind of a bitch. You should probably you should probably stop. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but
not really. I mean, he basically said. He was like, if I died right now, all 9 of these people would be at my funeral. But if you died, none of them would be. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I just found it all. He was very, to me, contradictory. Like, you're saying you need to be self-aware. These people think you're an asshole. And then he's going on telling her, like, if you died, no one's going to show up to your funeral. So I'm just like, I don't know. I found him entertaining as hell in this episode, but I'm not surprised he got voted out. At that rate, if you compare a character like him or a player like him versus a player like Natalie, you're taking Natalie all fucking day.
I would take Natalie just simply because I don't think anyone would vote for her.
Sure.
She's the CEO of a major, not a major company, but of some company. And she's 57 and she's got an attitude of a walrus. Like, no one likes her.
Are you, I'm very interested in like your initial impressions of her because I kind of laughed at you last week. I texted you. I was like, "Oh, Natalie Napalm. This sounds very motherly." Are you still feeling like she has the motherly vibe? Or are you like off of that?
No, she's way past that. I think she could have played the motherly card, but she completely threw that out the window. Didn't even think about it. Like, I think Jeremy was just like, yeah, you've never seen an episode of Survivor in your life, and I tend to agree with him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I'd have been super insulted if he had said that to me.
While we're talking about it, let me bring up our pick chart. Here we go.
The draft.
The draft. Let me,
well, fortunately for you, this is really only the first person out. We have no leftovers yet. You got Natalie last week after Jessica was eliminated, which also surprised me.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy to me. That last week's was more surprising than this week's, but even still, like, I don't have the frame of mind that I would vote people out I don't like. Like I always would vote out someone who is who I believe to be the weakest person on the tribe, who is holding us back. Like she volunteered for that puzzle position and did jack shit with it.
I mean the puzzle. I don't know. It was like a 4-piece puzzle. Like to me, it's just like a total luck of the draw in terms of like who's gonna solve it first. Clearly.
I think this. Well, it was interesting to me because this challenge was so close compared to the last couple. And oh my god! And then for some reason they picked fucking B to do the challenge that it was essentially like you have to be a lanky person to climb through these beams and stuff, and they picked her again after last week's challenge with the ladder.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused as to why they keep choosing B for these challenges. I thought the same exact thing last week. I know we're probably already talked about, but I wasn't here, so I wanted to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Picking B to do that ladder challenge last week seemed like super silly to me. You figure they should have gone with like a taller person, and then this week as well, I would have gone with someone a little lankier. Like I almost would have put a Gabby out there.
Someone who has hips taller than the lowest rung of the fence post or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, I mean B's pretty short, but I don't know.
But you know what? At the end, they pretty much finished at the same time because what's his face fucked up.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that they continue to use Alec as like the lead guy for every single challenge.
I mean, he's doing well.
Yeah, I mean, he's like clearly the most athletic person there.
And Dennis and I were talking about this last week. It's so weird how some people don't get any screen time, and it's just like Alec's one of those people where he just kind of blends into the background, and you don't remember that much about him, until you stop and you're like, oh yeah, that was Alec. Like last week, I was like, I don't think Alec got any time, and then I was just like, oh yeah, he was the one who did the first part of the challenge, but that was about it.
Yeah,
like he is flying so far under the like editor radar.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if he like goes far and does well. Like I don't know. At this point, I haven't really seen much of a strategic bone in his body. But then again, we haven't really seen anything of him. I think he's had maybe 1 or 2 confessionals to date, and other than that, like he has not said a word.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he had more screen time this time than Dan.
In this episode?
Yeah, I think Dan was in like the background of 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah, I think like really the only mention of Dan in this episode was Jeremy was in the shelter saying like we need to break up the Kara Dan showmance, and like that was kind of it.
Yeah.
That was immediately following. We shouldn't have side conversations, guys. Team unity. So, didn't work out too well on him, but I don't know. It was interesting, and I feel bad for Jeremy. Like he would have been my pick had you not picked him, Ryan. So
I thought he was golden, man. I thought he would make it. This upset me because I thought he would make final at least, and he's not even making. I guess next week is tribe swap.
Yeah, he's not even making the first tribe swap.
That's terrible. Like, there are so many people who don't deserve to go that far.
Already, really? I think everyone's doing pretty well. Like, I can't point out like a particular person who I feel like
Natalie
is not. Natalie?
I don't think she deserves to be where she is. I thought she deserves to get the fuck out.
I don't know, man. I'm like strangely team Natalie at the end of this episode. just from like a pure entertainment standpoint, like she's TV fucking gold. So
so that's the part of the TV gold. Sure, she causes a lot of drama, she causes a lot of shit, sure, but does she deserve to be anywhere near the Survivor final? Absolutely not.
No, but she's not yet, so
right, but she's one of the people that I would put as my top 2 or top 3 to get voted out in the first 1 through 3.
Yeah. No,
not Jeremy, dude.
I mean, we all put her in the top 2 getting voted out first because none of us fucking picked her.
Yeah.
To go. I mean, the thing that bothers me, I guess, a little bit about Natalie, and it kind of bothers me the way they edited the show too. Is like they made it seem like she won over Jeremy because she was like smarter, because she worked harder, because she convinced people not to. And that's the one thing. Like I can respect. She didn't just roll over. She didn't just die. She talked to everybody, and she said, "How can I convince you to keep me?" That being said, I wouldn't say she was kept because of any of the work she actually did. I think she solely was kept, and she can thank Angelina for it. Because had Angelina not pitched this idea to get Jeremy out, there's no doubt in my mind that Natalie would have been gone.
Oh, 100%. And I just, I was on the same page as what's her name? Super cute. Natalie or Natalia of we need to keep the I don't see, I don't know how you give an to her. I think she is fucking funny as shit. I love her. She is great.
Natalia?
Yeah. The interview she did where she was just like speaking her mind, I was rolling. I thought that was hilarious.
But that's where she's a bad player, because she's like literally like, I'm voting out Natalie just because I don't like her, not for any strategic reason.
I mean, no, she also said she was the worst player which on their tribe, which I completely agree with, and she just doesn't get along with her as an add-on to her being the worst player. Like when you're in this situation, you want to keep all of the people who you think are going to be close to you in the game. Like I honestly, even though Natalie gave that spiel at Tribal where she was like, I guarantee you I will not, I am, what is it?
Yeah.
David Strong
Goliath.
or something like that. Goliath Strong. I'm just like, bullshit. She is going to turn so hard on those people. After this season, after this episode, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn.
She survived to the tribe swap. Now she's more of a player than ever before. Because she's either gonna stay on like a Goliath Strong team, or she's gonna go into a David team and just cause all kinds of shit.
I mean, if she's in the majority on a tribe with majority Goliath, I think that'll definitely work out in her advantage. I don't know, unless she like softens the edges a little bit, and if she ends up on a tribe where it's like 6 David to 2 Goliath, like she's totally fucked, because she is not breaking down any walls whatsoever in terms of building relationships. To me, she hasn't even been able to really build a relationship with anyone on her tribe. And I can understand why Jeremy was so frustrated with her by the end of it, and he basically says what he says because he tried to help her.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I feel so bad for Jeremy. Like, he was very obviously trying to help her, and she turned that shit around right, like, on him. Like, you are just giving me the business, and I don't want any of it. Like, unbelievable. I cannot. This might be why I fail if I ever get on Survivor. Is just I don't understand the way people think. Like that is so beyond me.
In what way? That Natalie didn't take the advice of Jeremy, or that
like why they chose to vote Jeremy out over Natalie? Like Jeremy, from what I've seen, in challenges, he's not the greatest, but he's better than Natalie. Like. Natalie volunteers to sit out, or she volunteers for the easy part, which is the puzzle, and completely fails on it. And you're trying to keep your tribe strong, so when the merge does happen, you don't have any people who are just going to flip flop around or get voted off by a tribe that isn't as strong. Like I don't think the Davids are very strong.
No.
Relationship wise, like I think Gabby and Christian have a good relationship going on. I think Christian's going to vote whatever way Gabby tells him, but it's just it's so bizarre to me. Like you want to keep your tribe strong so the other tribe gets voted out. Then when everything merges together into one tribe, you have the advantage with all your original tribe mates. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's so bizarre because like I think that the merge or the swap happens so quick. Like we're what 3 or 4 days in, and he's already throwing that in.
Well, I think they're like day 9, and we're like episode 3.
Oh, that's right. 3 days kind of happened, but for each episode, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess a swap isn't too surprising at this point. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes they swap multiple times
Yeah.
before the merge.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm guessing they're going to swap at least like twice before the merge at this rate. So I don't know. I think it's d- 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 something tells me that the producers were at least aware enough that from a physical standpoint, the David tribe is really kind of screwed in my perspective.
I mean,
Like,
they won.
yeah, but I mean, like, look what they won. They won like a ropes course. Didn't really involve much physical activity. Like they basically had it's like glorified untangling yourself, like, and then doing a puzzle. Versus last week, which it's like climbing up a ladder, rowing a boat,
Yeah,
carrying heavy puzzle pieces.
but then at the same
like,
time, you would think that they're gonna initiate this tribe swap, but they don't know how that tribe swap's gonna go. Like,
mhm.
there is the possibility that everybody stays on the same tribe.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. But like, I mean, even if you take an Alec and swap him over to the Davids and almost everyone on the David stays the same and Carl goes over to the Goliath. Alec would be a very big contributing member to that David tribe from a physicality standpoint.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, even like a single player could really help give them the advantage in that way. And I will say, the Goliath tribe isn't like that physical. I haven't really been blown out of the water by any of their performances to date, except for Alec.
Yeah, and
which
it's not
they clearly know because
and it's not like the Goliath tribe is just pulling ahead, like miles and miles ahead of the David tribe either. Each challenge has been relatively close. Especially last
yeah,
week's it was like you paddle out to get puzzle blocks and then you come back and then do the puzzle or some shit like that.
yeah. I mean, that's where they always seem to catch up is the puzzle. Like clearly the Goliaths are not that great with the puzzles, and the Davids are. It's kind of funny because we were watching it and Courtney was like, after the Davids had won, and Christian did the puzzle. Courtney was like, it seems like it's kind of like an unfair advantage that Christian is on, that they have Christian to do all these puzzles because he could do these puzzles in like 5 seconds. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like they're physically outmatched in like every capacity. So at least Christian can counterbalance in that way and compete really well from a puzzle standpoint. And to me, it looked like he actually struggled with this puzzle in this episode.
He did, and it was really bizarre. The whole. I think I talked to Dennis about this last week, where the puzzles they used to be like all physical or all puzzle, and then they started mishmashing them, and now it's like it's a definite like there's a physical challenge to lead up to a puzzle challenge.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate that.
I kind of do too. I mean, I understand why they do it. I think they do it for this exact reason. So they like one part of the challenge could be led by one team and then, the other team could still win and catch up for the puzzle. And I mean, I guess it makes the most fair and balanced game. But yeah, it's not to me it gets like kind of like boring in that way too. It's like everything always seems to be the same. Like you said, physical challenge ends with puzzle and like that's it. To me, there was that one season, I can't remember which one. Was it like the one tribe just like fucking got blown out of the water? They just got destroyed.
I remember that. Yeah. That wasn't too long ago.
No, it wasn't. I think there was like 3 different tribes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I was pulling GIFs for the GIF reel, and Jesus, it was 3 tribes. It was like shit, I didn't pull any of those GIFs.
Was it
like, it's like white collar, blue collar, and something like that?
No collar. I can't remember. But, who cares? Like, I don't care. I don't care if one tribe gets blown out of the water. Like, whatever. That is the way it is. Like, make it fun and make it interesting. Like, just doing this where like, oh, the Goliaths are going to do really well in the physical part, and then they might fall behind in the puzzle, and if the David tribe is good enough to do the puzzle fast, then they'll win. Like, I don't know. It's just life isn't always that fair.
Yeah.
So I kind of just like, wish they keep them one way or another in a mix every so often is fine, but I don't know. I'd like to see some more variety in the games. I feel like we see the same kind of games, the same structure every year.
Yeah, and I think that goes along with the themes. Like they put these people together for themes, David or Goliath, and I really wish they would just randomize it. It's so
Yeah,
refreshing when you have like a group of random people.
No, I agree. I think um because remember, like all the years prior, they used to do different locations. So the season was just based off the location. It'd be like Survivor Africa, Survivor Borneo, Survivor Philippines, Tocantins, whatever. It was never a themed season.
Yeah, but
And
now they all do them in like the South Pacific, so it's not
exactly. They film every season in the same location, and
Mhm.
now the thing that changes is the theme of the season, not the location of the season. So
right.
which kind of the theme. I just like every time you hear the confessionals and it's like Carl's like, oh, I really struggled when Jessica went home, blah blah blah, she's like my daughter, and I'm just like really missing my family, but as a David, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, come on. Like they're probably like, all right, Carl, now try to tie this into being a David.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's interesting. Speaking of the immunity challenge and Natalie's choice to do the puzzle, and I think Natalia and Angelina were the ones who ended up sitting out because Natalie wanted to be in. I thought they also made a rule that you can't sit out back-to-back challenges.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but Natalie couldn't have sat out, right?
Natalie sat out the last two, didn't she?
But does it count if it's two different episodes, 2 different days, or I guess
think
6 days?
No, okay, so if you sit out it's when they start doing the reward and the immunity challenge. You can't sit out both. I think that's what it is.
Okay. Not when they do the same. Not they do reward and immunity in the same challenge.
Right.
All right. Yeah, because I was wondering in that regards. I thought Natalie had sat out both episode 1 and 2. I was like, damn, they're gonna make her ass sit out again. At that point too, I'd be like, fuck you guys. I'm doing the fucking challenge. Like, I'm on Survivor. I want to do the damn challenge. But then I thought it was interesting, Natalia kind of starts to lay into Jeff and Natalie by saying like, Angelina, she saw how the puzzle was supposed to go and she knew how to solve it, but Natalie shouldn't have been the one doing the challenge at all. And I'm just like, that is so fucked up, and it's like so easy to say from the sideline, like, you saw how to do the puzzle. Like, get the fuck out of here. That part pissed me off.
I think it comes back to where they were volunteering to do what position, and Natalie was like, I'm not sitting out this time. I want to do the puzzle, and the other girl was like, no, I want to do the puzzle. I don't know.
I mean, I get it,
but I agree with you. It's so easy to sit, like, and nothing's stopping you from shouting at them how to do the puzzle.
Sure, you could have helped them. Exactly. If you knew like what piece should have been on the bottom or whatever, then fucking tell her. Not that she probably would have listened, but
right, yeah. I think Natalie even said it was a pyramid, and whoever she was doing it was like, nah.
Wait, they didn't know it was a pyramid?
I think Natalie said while they were trying to do it, I think it's a pyramid, and whomever she was working with, I can't remember who, said no, it's not.
Yeah. She was working with Allison, my number 1 pick. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. I thought they saw like the completed puzzle, so they like knew what they were working towards, but that's interesting.
Yeah, they didn't know what shape it was.
Well, then that makes it a lot harder too. So then maybe Angelina did know that it was a triangle or a pyramid, not a triangle.
Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, she could have yelled out and said, "It's a pyramid."
She could have, but that might have helped Christian solve it even faster, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But now, back to what we were. Natalie does have a good team. I guess an ally in John Hannigan, or Hennigan, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's like a surprising. I'm talking about John Hennigan. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised by him. Part of the reason I picked him is because in his preseason interviews, he was basically saying, he had that level of self-awareness. Like, I need to drop this whole shtick from my wrestling thing, and I just need to be a real person. And he's super leaning into that, and he's doing so well and making really great connections. I'm just very pleasantly surprised by him, and I'm very satisfied with my pick. I just want to throw that out there. I mean, I know he was my 6th pick at that point, but I don't know. I'm very happy about it.
Ugh.
Ugh, yeah,
I
whatever.
don't know. I think this season it's very open ended and can go anywhere. I really
do
like
too.
Natalia. I think she's great, but I don't think she's gonna make it very far if she keeps opening her fucking mouth.
Which, you know,
I think I made a mistake
opening your
with
mouth.
Christian and Gabby.
You think? No, I don't think you made a mistake with Christian at all. I think Christian's just like that. He's a super genius.
He's the
And to
Cochrane.
me,
He is a Cochrane, and everybody,
he's like 10 times smarter.
anybody who watches Survivor is not gonna let Christian get to the end simply because of what happened to Cochrane.
And yet, not a single person has mentioned his name.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like,
I mean, we're only 3 episodes in, so it could
sure.
happen.
Yeah. I mean, but he has like this like totally unassuming, non-threatening vibe about him, and I just feel like that's how people see him. And I also think they just see him as an asset for doing like the puzzles and stuff. I think up until this point he'll be fine, maybe until merge where it's one-on-ones, and then people will start to realize like what kind of a threat he is.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's also making like really good connections. Like, he has his what's that alliance he has?
Oh, the Mason
With,
Dixon.
Yeah, the Mason Dixon. He has his Mason Dixon alliance, and then he has an alliance with Gabby.
Yep.
You know, and he seems to have good bonds with everyone else. So I don't know, man. I think he's in a pretty good position at this point in time. You know, he might end up having to cut Gabby because it seems like everyone's anti-Gabby. But at the same time, they're going to merge next week anyway. So,
see, I don't know if they are. I think that was like a one-time off thing. You know, the people who didn't get to vote or who got outvoted last episode are pissed at Gabby because she freaked out and voted the way they didn't want. You know, for
sure.
What was her name? Jessica.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I've noticed here, you know, well, not noticed here, but like just watching this show, it's like everyone has like super ADD in this game. It's like one episode they're super pissed at this one person, and that's the person that needs to go, and then by the next episode, like, all is forgotten and we move on, and then usually the target is completely on someone else.
Yeah, because fucking Nick was the target episode 1, and everyone I thought he was gone, and he's still here, and now he's fallen under the radar.
That's why it's like I never get super like, if someone is a target one week and they don't end up going home, I'm like, they'll be fine next week. No one will even mention it anymore. Like Lyrsa, no one even talked about her anymore.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about B. I really like B, but I think, you know, after she sprained her MCL or something like that, now she's got a target on her back because she can't really partake in challenges. I'm interested to see where she goes next week. Well,
then maybe they should stop fucking putting her in the position to do all the damn work, and she won't be injuring herself.
Yeah, I don't know why she keeps getting into those positions.
I don't know. She must volunteer to do them.
Well,
I did not know she was still an active MMA fighter.
I don't know if she is. She?
She said that she tore her MCL
and had to back out of a fight, but that was I would imagine that was a while ago, you know.
She made it sound like it was 2 months before she came on Survivor.
She said it was right before Survivor.
Oh, then never mind.
I know you're a big B fan.
I like B. She's cute.
I know. You were sending us pics.
Oh, shh. Seb.
B pics. All right. What else?
I do want to say hello to Gaius. We're a little behind on that. Thanks for coming out and watching the stream. I don't know what he commented, but
it's like 2 little emojis.
Yeah.
One is like,
I think it's a guy and a male symbol. Thank you, guys.
I didn't even know how you pronounce that, Gaius. That's interesting.
Yeah, he is my internet friend from Ireland. I don't know why he's still awake. Go to bed.
Yeah, right. Aren't they like 6 hours ahead?
Yeah.
The whole time is it like 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Damn, the internet does these things to you.
It never sleeps.
The internet never sleeps. No, it does not. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like kind of it.
Well,
nothing like.
we got to ask the question, Seb. We ask this question every week.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I'm
We
gonna
have a
start. I'm gonna
question-
start with
we have a
Dennis.
question we ask every week. That's exciting.
Yeah. Based on the past 3 episodes, Dennis, who do you think is going to win?
Oh wow.
I'm still gonna say Carl. I haven't been wrong so far.
Yeah, no,
You won't be wrong until he's voted out. He was looking a little pissed off at someone. I can't remember who it was, but they kept switching back
that was
down.
Christian. Yeah, I think he was getting annoyed by
Oh yeah,
him.
they were talking about the Slam House or something.
Slam Town.
Slam Town, yeah. And he was
All
just
right,
upset
Ryan.
about that. No, it's your
Who do you-
turn, Sam.
I mean, shouldn't we by default be going with our number 1 pick?
No.
All right. So at this point in time, I think the winner of this game will be. I'm gonna say Elizabeth.
I think that's what you said episode 1 too.
Yeah, but I didn't pick her as my number 1. So that's just because I listened to that Rob has a podcast thing that said she would win.
God damn it.
All right, Ryan, who are you going with?
I honestly don't know.
yeah.
I forget who
Yeah.
I picked last week.
I don't think he picked anyone last week.
No, I know I did. But I
It's
can't
the question we ask every week, but no one answers.
No, you guys always answer. I'm always just like on the fence. I have no idea. I'll admit to it.
I mean, I don't either. So
I want to ask another question after this because I'm gonna say Natalia just because
okay,
I hope
yeah,
she
sure.
wins. So I'm gonna follow up that question is who do you guys think is playing the best game?
Dennis, you want to go first?
I'm actually gonna say Mike.
I like
Really?
Mike.
Mike's-
The more
yeah.
I see about Mike, I like him. I do like Mike, but I don't think he's playing the best game. I think he's just coasting.
I mean, he's staying under the radar and he's doing all the right moves. He's searching for the idol and he's lining himself with his tribe. I'm just kind of surprised he hasn't been a target at all yet.
And they've talked about him, but
I mean, that was only because he was looking for the idol, but everyone in that tribe was looking for the idol.
yeah, I think Mike's a good person to take to the end because I don't think anyone will vote for him.
I don't either. You sit in a final 3 with Mike and Natalie. Golden.
Golden. Yeah. Well, you know what? It depends how Natalie gets there, in my opinion. You know, if she gets to final 3 by doing A, B, and C, you know, making moves, like I think tonight's move was a big move. Like she saved herself by focusing on Jeremy, and I don't understand. I think it's part of the editing process. I don't understand how Jeremy got voted out. I didn't. You know, he didn't give anyone else shit but Natalie, from what I've seen.
Yeah, but it was like the perfect storm. Like he was arguing with Natalie, and then Angelina had her target set on him for whatever reason. Frankly, I'm shocked that Natalie even voted for Jeremy because I don't even think Natalie was involved in this. Like, and that's like kind of where, and I gave her credit earlier saying, she did her work to at least not just fucking roll over and die. But I really don't think she had any sort of control over what that decision was at the end of the day. I think her vote for Jeremy just so happened to be where everyone else was thinking. But the only reason she voted for Jeremy was because she had this little spat with him and she didn't know who the hell else to vote for. So I'll be interested to see next week, like, if they provide any more details of, like, did Natalie know? Was Natalie aware of, like, this happening? But I really don't think she was. But in terms of who I think is playing the best game, can I do a male and a female, or do I have to only do one?
You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I guess it's our show, right?
Yeah.
All right, so from a female perspective, shockingly, based off of this week's episode, I think Angelina is playing the best game. due to the fact, and not because she'll do this all the time, but I was very surprised by her ability to persuade people into making the decision that she wanted and making it happen. So if she's able to continue to do that throughout this game, you know, more power to her, and she could do pretty well, which is surprising because I really did regret her as a pick after your guys' reaction to her. But I don't know. I was you know pretty stoked by her performance this week. And then from a male perspective, I could see the winner being John at this point. Just he seems to be playing a really good social game with these people. Haven't really seen too much from a strategic standpoint, but I haven't really seen too much of a strategic gameplay from really any of the guys, in my opinion. To me, all of the guys seem to be flying under the radar, and it kind of seems like the females are the ones leading the charge. Interesting.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Again, I think it goes back to editing. I don't know if that's an editing decision to make them look that way, or if they're actually doing it. I would assume they're actually doing it. But yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think after this week's episode, Angelina is definitely leading the charge in who's playing the best game, because she managed to make everybody on her tribe vote for Jeremy and not get looked at as a target herself.
Yep.
Which is pretty often hard to do in Survivor.
Yeah, I think so too. And then going back last week, it was Beth and Lirsa who pretty much flipped the vote on Jessica.
Which I have no idea how that happened. I really don't.
Who ended up? It was basically Elizabeth, Lirsa, Christian, Gabby, and Nick who ended up.
Right. So. Yeah, I think we're at the point of the game where people are just like, hey, as long as it's not me, I'll vote whichever way you want. And I think once this tribe swap goes on next week, we're going to see a little bit of more interesting votes towards people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's totally how I would play the game. I would play the as long as it's not me, anyone but me type of I will vote whoever the fuck you want me to vote out. I will do it.
But it also comes down to like who suggests that, because the person who suggests voting for someone puts a target on their back just by doing it.
Sure.
So it's just kind of like, do you suggest it or do you wait for someone else to suggest it? Because I'm always on the point like, I know I would be the kind of person who'd be like, I know who I'm voting for, but I don't want to suggest it to anyone else simply because of that, you know?
No, yeah, I agree. And I feel like at this point of the game, it's not any gameplay that anyone actually remembers by the end of the game. So to me, like a Jeremy, had he ended up getting Natalie out, you know, to me, he's just putting a target on his back, being the type of person that he is, being very vocal, being very paranoid. Like, to me, that doesn't help him at all in the end of the game. Like saying, oh, I got Natalie out. Like, no one's going to give a flying fuck about that. So to me, the best strategy really is to just keep your mouth shut, lay low, build good relationships with people, you know, create those social bonds so that when you do swap or when you do go to a merge, you know, you're in a better position. That's when you can really start playing a little bit more, because the game is really in your own hands at that point from a community point. So I don't know, but we all make it sound so easy as if we're playing. And we're not.
It all comes down to personalities too, because you could be in a tribe where people don't target the person who suggests people, like I think the Goliaths are. You know, it's just like for me, it's always going to be the person who is the weakest link. Goodbye.
Is there any alliances right now that's stronger than 2 people?
I don't think so. We should really be keeping track of like these alliances and shit.
I mean, there really aren't that many. You got Christian and Gabby. You've got the Mason Dixon, which is Nick and Christian.
But is there any
Dan
besides just 2?
Dan and Kara K. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And I think we're gonna really see
Carl.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I think there was Carl by B and Jess. I think they were in like a 3-person, but obviously Jess is gone now. So
yeah, there was an alliance in the David tribe, but it failed miserably.
Which one was that?
I think it's the one you just were talking about, because they also had Pat, and Pat got medically evacuated, so that kind of fucked them.
You know, I was listening to an interview with Pat, and he said that they had the votes and Nick was gone. And I was like, I just still don't believe it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Apparently, everyone had decided like that was what they were going to do. I don't know if that would have changed had they actually gone to tribal, but I find that a little bit hard to believe personally.
I mean, if it was, it drastically changed in 3 days.
Yeah, like I said, it's the Survivor ADD. Like people just like forget about shit. But I also think Nick stepped it up a little bit in terms of, you know, providing for camp. But also, like once the shelter is built, like what are you actually providing on a day-to-day basis? Like you either get water or you get firewood. That's kind of it,
Or
right?
food.
Yeah, food. But
Like it's
they
so
have
funny when
rice.
like people. I think you said it was Davey this week who brought up a fish or something like that.
That was last week, I think.
Oh,
But, yeah.
It's like one tiny little fish for like 6 people. Like not everyone's gonna get to eat that fish, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you got a fish!" And then this week they were racing hermit crabs for some fucking reason.
That was John. John caught that little fish, and I think they were all like, "Oh my god," but it was a joke.
Yeah.
Because Allison was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be so stuffed after eating." That.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. If
No,
that
but
was,
Davey caught them an octopus.
oh, that's right. He did. That'll feed everyone. But like,
Yeah, well,
if that was me, I wouldn't stay. I'd stay in the water until I caught like 5 or 6 fish, not bring one up and just be like, "Look what I did. I'm the fisherman."
no, I totally agree. I mean, that he probably caught that thing by accident, and at that point,
And I'd probably secretly eat it.
well, and it's like he speared it, so it's not even like you can like let it go.
Yeah.
It was definitely dead. So
Use it to
he had
catch
make
a shark
some fish broth, a shark. Yeah.
or a bigger fish.
I'm gonna need a bigger fish.
I'm gonna need a bigger boat for my bigger fish.
Yeah. So that's it. Any didn't we talk about being able to trade our players?
We did. I
If
don't think we
anyone was-
should.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna open it up to the round table here. Does anyone want to trade a player that they have?
I'll give you Natalie for anyone.
I'm good.
I swear to God, if I win with Natalie, I will not accept anyone's money. I will take this season and just throw it in the garbage can. If she wins, I will be surprised.
Okay, so then, yeah, I would be very surprised as well. Dennis, I'm assuming you don't have anyone.
No, I'm confident in mine so far.
All right. So in terms of like looking at everyone's roster here, out of the 3 of us, where would you guys rank all 3 of us in terms of who has the best roster, middle, and then the worst?
Ugh.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, I think I have the best roster.
Of course.
Hey, and I would be honest, like if I thought, you know, someone else did, I would say it. But no, I really do think I have the best one. And then I think Dennis, you have the second best, and then Ryan, I think I'm worried for you already.
Why? Because I have Natalie. She's fucking gone. All right, let's break this down. You've got Nick, who's been a target. You have
Once.
Davey. I guess that is Davey, who's
Yeah.
pretty much flown under the radar. You've got Angelina, who's a big mouth. She's going to be targeted, and you got John, who's a big person, who's going to be targeted down the line. So I think honestly, you have. Allison could potentially go to the end. Nick, if he flies under the radar, could go to the end. Davey, I could see going to the end. The other 3 are trash.
Elizabeth is trash.
Yeah, she's going to be picked off.
Lies.
No, she's gone. Then
Alright, so-
Dennis has Carl, who's pretty much flying under the radar, who's not making any big moves. He's got Dan, who's got an idol. You've got Davey also has an idol, so that's true too. B, I think, is going to be a target because she's hurt. Lissa's useless. Mike, you could take him to the end, but he's never going to win. And Alex going to be instantly targeted at the merge if he makes it that far. I, on the other hand, have Natalie, who speaks for herself. I could see Christian going to the end. Honestly, I don't know who could win out of any of my players. Natalia, if she plays her cards right, could be a big player, I think. Kara's kind of flying under the radar. I haven't seen her a lot. But she's in that showman, so that instantly puts a target on her back. Christian could go far, but I don't think anyone's gonna vote for him because he's another Cochran. And I think Gabby's too insecure, so she's not gonna go far. So I honestly don't know. Seb, I think you're probably right. You might win this season.
Thanks, Dennis. What do you? Where are you at?
Yeah, I think Seb's. Yeah, I think you're.
All right.
I think it goes Seb, me, and then Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, and so one other thing, Jeremy was the one who knew that Dan had an idol. Jeremy did tell a bunch of people that Dan has an idol, right? So it's not a secret now that Dan has an idol.
I would say not. As soon as I think Mike knew, right?
I thought he told John, but then we know that Natalia and Kara Kay knew already.
I think it's safe to say that everyone knows he has the idol now.
Yeah. I think everyone knows he has an idol, and he doesn't know that everyone knows he
Right,
has
yeah.
an idol. So that always works out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that'll be a very entertaining moment at some point where he's like, and he gets.
Well, they'll probably just do that thing where they know he has an idol, so they'll majority vote for him, and the minority will vote for someone else who they actually want to get out, so that way they just get rid of the idol and the person they actually don't want.
Flourish it.
What?
Flush it.
Flush it. Yeah.
Even though I feel like that never actually works.
It works a lot.
Really? I don't feel like they ever successfully flush an idol. They either just vote that person out or the person doesn't use it.
Oh, well, that's the point.
No, well.
You get the idol and a person you don't kind of like out, and then you just vote the person you want out next round.
You right.
Overall, what do you guys think of the season so far?
So far, I'm pretty satisfied with it. I think we got a lot of fun characters. We got a lot of fun players. For once, they feel like real human beings and not caricatures. So I'm excited, and I hope Natalie sticks around because she's a whole lot of drama and she's a whole lot of entertainment. So, and that's why I'm also sad to see Jeremy go because he was sassy and I loved it.
Yeah, I
Dennis,
like him.
Where are you at with this season?
I mean, it's just all right. I think Natalie is the most entertaining thing about this season so far.
True that.
I think they're making her the most entertaining thing, but yeah, I would tend to agree. Everyone else a lot of people are just flying under the radar. There aren't too many big mouths. So once Natalie's gone, who's next? Probably Natalia. She's got the second biggest mouth, I think, now that Jeremy's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, we're 2 for 2 in terms of blindside at the tribal councils. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's always a good sign, right?
I guess so, but I think the way they're I think I said this to Dennis last week. The way they're editing the seasons, it's like they're trying to trick the audience. And
really?
Yeah,
Why?
I really don't like that. I like being the person who knows what's happening, knows what's going to happen, and then you actually see it happen. It just makes blindsides so fucking common now. Remember when blindsides were like, holy shit, they blindsided someone. Now it's just kind of like it's expected.
Now they don't even like put the hashtag blindside up anymore.
it's just like, wow, okay, great, blindside, whoop-de-doo.
I don't know. I like them. I think they're entertaining. To me, it's like you can always tell when it's gonna be a slow episode because they just like vote out the one they say they're gonna vote out, and then the end, and then that episode's never super exciting. But when you go into it thinking that Lyrsa's gonna go home and then Jessica goes home, like I don't know. I think it's cool. I like it. And I was like, people are always so calm and like so mellow.
It's just like everything has to be a blindside now. I'm just like, ugh. It doesn't have like it. I don't know. It takes away from the blindside. Blindsides are nothing to me now. They're almost expected.
All right.
I'm more shocked that people vote people out for the reasons they vote them out now, not like this person's a dick. Let's get them voted out.
Yeah, I mean. Talk about evolution of the game. I mean, that's just how things have changed over the years about who's voted out, why they're voted out. It always used to be, like you said, the weak go. Like, that is what happens in the very beginning of the season. It would always be the old lady or the old man who got voted out.
It wasn't always that way. It varied per season, and every season of Survivor is different based on the people who are there. They're all
Sure.
different personalities, and it wasn't always that way. But now it's always. It's never that way now. Is what I'm getting at.
Gotcha.
It's never let's preserve the tribe for the betterment of the tribe. It's let's get out who annoys us the most.
Yeah.
Which
I mean-
I hate. I don't think that way. I can
Yeah.
stand a nuisance. You know, if someone's gonna sit around and pick their ass and not help the tribe at all, but that person's actually doing stuff in challenges and stuff, I'm all right with that. If someone's not winning challenges and doing a shit job, that is more of a concern to me than someone who just sits around and picks their ass in the everyday life on the island.
Yeah. Well, game changes. I mean, even Big Brother, like these last couple of the person who wins is not the most strategic person. To the point where people are talking about how players should go in and play the game completely differently, because over the last 5 seasons of Big Brother, the jury has not awarded the best strategic player the winner. They've all been very butthurt and they're basically the person who wins is the person who got along with people the best, didn't ruffle any feathers, but maybe didn't make a single strategic move. So people are like, this is going to make for super boring Big Brother seasons moving forward, because it's if people know that this is how you win, you don't being a strategic player and getting blood on your hands, then no one's going to want to play the game that way. And everyone's just going to be like, oh, hunky dory, whatever, throughout the season. So, I don't want the same thing to happen to Survivor. I want to keep everything exciting,
Yeah, I feel like that's the way Survivor's going. Like last season, the final vote came down to the one person who didn't get any votes. I hated that. That is so dumb.
Yeah, but
so
how would you have
dumb.
wanted them to split? How would you have wanted them?
Huh?
How would you have preferred they do it?
You should never do a 3-person final.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. I agree with you.
It should never
think
be
they
an
do-
even amount of fucking people in the council.
I always think they do that because they want, going into the finale, they want it to be mystery. There's been some final 2 scenarios where there's a clear winner over someone else. And so I think by making it a 3-person final, there's more of a mystery as to who will win. Which is why they do it. In that particular scenario where there was equal number jurors, that's probably a bad idea.
I don't think that's ever happened before in a 3-person, final tribal.
No,
or whatever.
that was the first time.
That was the first time. But that is the ruling that the third person who didn't get any votes or who got the least votes gets to pick who wins. That is so dumb.
But then technically they become the last jury member. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I guess, but
Were you mad that Wendell won?
oh, I was fucking furious.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't deserve to win.
I don't think he deserved to win either, but Dennis was happy because he finally won a pool. I went into that finale so strong. I had Dom and whoever the hell the other person was. Who was the other person at that point? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But I had that person and Dom and then Wendell. And then I fucking lost. I was like, are you serious? I was super pissed about that. Because I was going for 5 for 5 at that point.
Yeah, you should have won that.
I should have.
Which is bullshit because you fucking random. If you win this one, I'm gonna be pissed too. Well, I'm not gonna be pissed. I'm just gonna be all right.
This one, at least I worked for it. I had to pick my...
Yeah, you worked for it. You picked names out of a lineup.
I strategically analyzed people's personalities, man.
But even doing that, it doesn't matter. I'll speak to that at the end of the season on our last episode.
All right, fair enough.
But I think we wrap this one up, huh?
Yeah, I think we are all done. If you're not listening to us live and you want to listen to the audio version and you only listen to the audio version, we finally got the feed set up on the website. Hallelujah. You could go to fandomfound.com/subscribe, and that's where you can find all of the subscription options for our Survivor Wannabes podcast. So we will be on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, not Spotify actually. So you can, like I said, go there and subscribe. You can also follow us on social media, facebook.com/fandomfound and Twitter @fandomfound. And if you want to email into the show, hosts@fandomfound.com. And that's pretty much it. If you do listen to the live version and you continue to listen to the live version, you can go to our YouTube channel. All the links are on our website, fandomfound.com, and you could actually subscribe to our YouTube channel. So when we go live, you'll actually be notified.
Yeah, just make sure you click the little bell.
Click the little bell.
Yeah, because YouTube's being dumb. So subscribe and click the little bell, and then you'll get a little notification. Be like, hey, my favorite podcast is going.
Like and subscribe. And then also, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, we are covering Walking Dead as well on a weekly basis. So we record that podcast live on YouTube on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we also do record an audio version as well and release that as a podcast on our website, fandomfound.com. Subscribe. So join us there as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So we will be back next week to talk about episode 4 of Survivor. And you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this shit up?
Nope.
Dennis?
Hope the season gets better.
Yeah.
The season is perfectly fine.
It's not great, but it's not
Really?
bad.
Whatever.
There have been far better seasons than this.
Give it some time. The seasons always start off slow.
Not the good ones.
Scott Gimple's behind this.
Yeah, Scott Gimple. He made this season.
God
Let's
damn it,
blame
Scott
him for
Gimple. Everything he touches turns to ash.
everything.
All right.
Yes.
I will play us out if you're done shilling our shit.
All right, guys. Until next time, I'm Sebastian.
I'm Dennis.
And I am Ryan.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Survivor Wannabe, a Survivor podcast by Fandom Found.
By Fandom Found. See you next week,
See you
everyone.
next time.